Hanoi, capital of Vietnam. Today, this shopping mall is hosting a festival.
Cháu ở trong màn hình Naruto.
Attendees at this cosplay event dress as characters from popular Japanese manga. These young people, raised in a period of rapid economic development, are known locally as the 9X generation. Most were born in the 1990s as the government's so-called Doi Moi economic reforms began to bear fruit. Popular culture flooded in from overseas. One form that had a particular impact was Japanese manga. Here is one website that has been a big hit with the 9X generation. Works by young manga artists are uploaded for free and rated by readers. The site then crowdsources funding to publish print editions of the most popular stories. Set up 2 years ago, the service is run by manga production firm Comicola. To date, it has published 20 experimental manga aimed at young people. At the heart of the site's activities are 2 young creators who have worked together since high school, Gwen Kain Zong and Gwen Thanh Phong. But here in Vietnam, strict publishing regulations still hinder this fledgling manga culture.
Just 2 weeks after it was released, they recalled every edition. It's just a pun many young people use.
Can manga culture take root in Vietnam? We focus on this Southeast Asian nation's homegrown comic scene. Dinh Lê Street in central Hanoi. With numerous bookstores, this has long been known as a literary district. On weekends, many parents bring their children here. They rush to the manga corner. Comics are well established in Vietnam as leisure reading for kids. Factoring in pirate editions, some 18 million comics are produced here each year. 90% of those are translations of foreign titles, with Japanese manga our particular favorite. But recently, these trends have begun to shift. Bookstores now carry graphic novels by local artists. And most buyers are from the 9X generation.
One of the best local manga draws on historical themes. Few homegrown comics tend to make it into print, so readers like me are always on the lookout for new titles.
Holy Dragon Imperator, a series set in 13th century Vietnam, is popular with readers in their teens and 20s. This historical epic is based on the tale of Vietnam's triumph against the Mongolian invasion. But it's not all about war. Readers also learn about the everyday life of the common people. The work has won attention for its strongly Vietnamese identity, with little influence from foreign manga. It is currently on its 3rd volume. The artist behind Holy Dragon Imperator is 30-year-old Gwen Thanh Phong. He often walks the streets of Hanoi with a camera. His aim is to capture echoes of the ancient culture and customs of ordinary Vietnamese people.
I like to snap people who look characteristically Vietnamese and then sketch the pictures. I found something very Vietnamese about this fellow stopping off for a beer on his way home from work.
Raised in an artistic household, Gwen has always drawn. He finishes this sketch in just 15 minutes. The office of manga producer Comicola is tucked away on this Hanoi side street. Phong arrives for a meeting about Holy Dragon Imperator. Company CEO Gwen Kain-zong wrote the script on which Phong's imagery is based. They are currently working together on the 4th volume.
I'm wondering about the cover art. I want it to look striking. It has to look cool, but it seems a little bit stiff and boring to me right now. What do you think?
Well, if that's how you feel, we can always try something different. How about putting him on horseback in full armor?
Phong and Zong first met as classmates in high school. Bonding over a shared love of comics, they teamed up to work together at the age of 18.
He has a great aesthetic sensibility because he's from an artistic family.
And he's really full of these great ideas. You see, his scripts really allow me to focus on my own art.
Both were born in 1986, the year that the Vietnamese government introduced its Doi Moi reforms. By the time they reached school age, pirate translations of Japanese manga had begun to appear. These affordable comics were a hit with Vietnamese children. While at elementary school, Zong was bitten by the manga bug. He saved up his pocket money to buy comics that he still treasures today.
Manga helped us gain a natural understanding of foreign cultures. Look at the carp streamer on this page here. Where else could we have learned about these things back in 1992? Japanese comics opened up new horizons to Vietnamese children. They were our introduction to the wider world. I dream of doing the same. I want to communicate Vietnam's traditional culture, and I want to use the most natural medium possible, which to me is manga.
In college, Zong and Phong initially created Holy Dragon Imperator as a serial for a newly launched magazine. Unfortunately, the publication folded after only 8 months.
Manga magazines would go bust almost as soon as they were launched. Vietnamese manga simply didn't have the depth or the quality that readers really wanted.
Back in those days, domestic publishers had no real idea what manga was. There was just no way to make a living by creating these comics.
After university, the pair went in different directions. Phong became a freelance illustrator and graphic designer, while Zong took a job at an online retail firm. But both retained their passion for creating the comics they loved so much. In 2013, they hit upon a new way to get their work published. They put up previews of their work online. Making these tasters available for free helped to raise their profile and attract a following. Finally, they used crowdfunding to cover the publication costs through small donations from individual fans. They focused their efforts on reviving the epic they had written as college students. For the new edition, Phong redrew all the artwork from scratch. He visited museums and studied the clothes and customs of the period. His goal was to accurately portray the atmosphere of 13th century Vietnam, where the story was set. One particularly useful resource when looking back to the Middle Ages was traditional folk art prints. Many portray historic events and folk stories, while others offer a glimpse at everyday life. For centuries, households have displayed these images to bring good luck.
This chicken and the ducks, they were inspired by a historical print. They're not an exact copy, but they do have the same sort of feel to them.
The manga also shows how in days gone by, Vietnamese stained their teeth black. More than just a comic, thorough research made Holy Dragon Imperator a useful primer on history. Crowdfunding for the publication costs began in April 2014. And thanks to donations from 462 people, they reached their $13,000 target in only 2 months. 24-year-old Nguyen Hoang Vu, who lives in Ho Chi Minh in southern Vietnam, contributed $8.
We waited a long time for something like this. There were plenty of kids' comics, but nothing you wanted to read. To me, it wasn't about investing in a publication. It was a way to participate in a community that was making manga. I wanted to be a part of that, even on a small scale.
Completed in October 2014, the first volume of Holy Dragon Imperator had a huge impact. It was Vietnam's first historical manga for adults. The buzz even spread overseas, bringing Phong and Duong international awards. Then, in December 2014, Duong set up manga production company Comicola, short for Comic Online Alliance. The idea was to use crowdfunding to publish the work of young manga artists. And the underlying aim was to help establish a new manga culture in Vietnam.
Manga is still not widely understood in Vietnam, and writing comics is not really seen as an acceptable profession. But 9X generation kids understand what we're doing and get passionately behind it. We just wanted to create a place where we could help aspiring young manga creators to realize their work.
In its first 2 years, Comicola has helped 17 9X generation manga artists get their work into print. One is 23-year-old Duong Tak Tao. She joined Comicola straight out of art school and has already published 2 titles. Her emotionally expressive work has found particular popularity with young women. She is currently preparing for her 3rd release, Let Me Be Closer to You. It is adapted from a popular novel by a 28-year-old female author. Its 19-year-old heroine battles cancer and a breakup from her boyfriend. A female perspective on romance is combined with a portrayal of contemporary Vietnamese medicine.
Romantic comics by male authors tend to be more matter-of-fact. But I think women have a different ideal. They want something more dreamlike, a break from reality, As a woman myself, I want to put that feminine perspective across.
After growing up in a middle-class home in Hanoi, it was while at art school that Tao decided to draw manga. But at first, her parents were strongly against the idea.
We had sent her to college to study interior design. We just didn't think Vietnam's manga industry would ever take off. And having to draw all that detail on every page, it's back-breaking work.
But Tao continued to create manga in secret. In 2015, her work was accepted for publication by Comic-Cola. Eventually, her father, Hung, began to soften his stance. He decided to read her work for himself.
Is this a girl?
It's a guy. Oh my God, Dad.
What a handsome fellow.
Her parents were especially interested by the extra short strip at the end of the book. It shows Tao drawing manga as she talks with an imaginary character.
Hey, the phone's ringing.
You're closer, you get it.
No, I need to make dinner.
Well, I'm tired after doing the laundry. In the end, the caller hangs up. This is exactly the sort of thing that happens in our house. But she's captured it so naturally. It's really funny and so cute.
I don't really understand manga. But I see my daughter's passion for it when she stays up every night working.
When we were young, we couldn't be open about our feelings. If you liked someone, you tended to keep it to yourself. Young people today can express those feelings openly, which is the way I think it should be. These days, Tao's parents are eager to support their daughter in her dreams.
Không, cái này là kia kìa, bố mẹ để cạnh tivi kìa.
Printing has begun on Tao's upcoming release, Let Me Be Closer to You. Comic-Cola CEO Gwen Kain-zong takes her along to check on progress.
Is that too blue?
Maybe a little. Zong, look at this.
Tao seems unsure about the colors on the cover. The book has to meet the expectations of the crowdfunding contributors. In the end, she asks for the cover to be reprinted. In the evenings, the Comic-Cola office becomes a manga classroom. Established young artists teach basic drawing techniques. There are 2 classes of 6. Mostly college students, these disciples dream of turning pro. Today's special guest lecturer is Gwen Thanh Phong. He reads the students' work and gives them individual advice. 22-year-old architecture major Do Ding Quang has been writing manga for 7 years. He shows Phong one work based on an old folktale.
Things happen a bit too fast on this page. You have to try and show what this old geezer is doing a little more clearly. In this scene, he's fixing things, right? So, we should draw some tools scattered around like this. Then, if we draw a cup here, it gives you a clear link to the next scene. You see what I mean? As you draw, you have to imagine where the reader will begin and how their eye will move across the page.
With advice from one of Vietnam's leading comic artists, you really do learn so much. He's given me lots of tips to improve my drawing. As a next step, I hope to use what I've learned in my own comics.
Phong is working on the artwork for the 4th volume of Holy Dragon Imperator. With the Mongol invasion intensifying, he has a lot of battle scenes to draw. But as he works, Phong has one major worry. If the combat scenes are too realistic, there is a chance that official permission for publication might be denied.
I put this out through a domestic publishing firm 5 years ago. But just 2 weeks after it was released, they recalled every edition.
The Killer with a Head Full of Festering Sores is a collection of humorous images. Each is based on a pun, sending up a traditional saying. Such wordplay is very popular with young Vietnamese.
I don't know why the book was recalled. I was just told it violated publication codes. But I never found out exactly which pages or which aspects were problematic. I never got a clear explanation.
After rounding up all the copies, the publisher removed certain pages, then redistributed the work.
When the book reappeared, pages referring to the army or the police had gone. Like this page here. Here in Vietnam, any sort of reference to the army or the police is a very delicate matter. This page was deleted too. If you're mad at the world, prison is just as good as the priesthood. It's just a pun many young people use. But perhaps it could have been seen as a criticism of Buddhism. This kind of language is no problem in daily conversation or online. But in the publishing world, it's different.
In Vietnam, all publishing firms require permission from the government. Comic-Cola is not a publisher, but their comics are inspected when they are presented to a publishing house for printing and marketing. Phong and Duong feel that the publishing world still lacks an understanding of the expressive potential of manga.
We both want to change the outlook of the publishers, don't we? So moving forward, I think we need to come up with a good way to achieve that.
It may be hard, but I've got an idea that just might work in principle.
Go on.
We could form our own publisher. Why don't we file an application?
It's a good idea, but it's not realistic. Our portfolio still isn't up to that. For now, we should focus on developing manga creators.
These partners may not always agree, but they are united in their desire to take Vietnamese manga to the mainstream. The printed copies of Zhuang Taktao's latest work arrive at the office. The first run of 100 books is for distribution to the media. Tao wasn't happy with the colors on the initial cover. What does she think this time? The cover seems to be fixed, but...
Look, his face is folded in two.
Tao's design for the obi strip has been shifted, moving one character's face partially out of the frame.
I'm not happy with this.
Well, you know the drill by now. Don't just tell me about it. Get onto the printers yourself.
Every detail up to publishing is the responsibility of the artist herself. With Zhuang's advice, Tao decides to make another adjustment before the final print.
Well, there are still a few small things left to fix, but I'm happy to see my book in print at last.
For now, Tao gets down to autographing each of the 100 copies.
Within the next 10 years, our generation, the generation that understands the value of manga, will be playing a key role in Vietnamese society. And I want to make sure that when that time comes, Comic-Cola is still around. I know the public's view of manga is going to change.
The youth of Vietnam are driving a new cultural movement. And down this quiet Hanoi side street, these young manga creators intend to keep on pushing to take their art form to the mainstream.
When you need to know what's happening at home and around the world, trust WBFO, providing comprehensive coverage when our community needs it most.
We've got some great bakes for you on this masterclass.
Can't wait to get going.
Chop it? You can buy apricot pieces.
I haven't got them today. Sorry about that.
Fold it. This is a book turn. Mix it up.
You love using your hands, don't you?
And if you know what it feels like with your hands, you're going to be a good baker.
Let's get physical.
Who needs a machine when you've got a Paul Hollywood?
Monday night at 9 on WNED.
Anyone can become a refugee.
A global human crisis.
It's not something which you choose, it's something that happens to you.
Their extraordinary journeys across 26 countries.
Nobody wants to leave their country.
A frontline special presentation.
But when it becomes impossible, people will do desperate things.
Tuesday night at 9 on WNED.
They are the last remaining non-royal dukes and duchesses in England.
How should one address you?
Your Grace. Some of them were born to it.
How many servants were there?
36, I think.
Others have had it thrust upon them.
All of this is done for me, but I haven't done anything to deserve it.
Meet the extraordinary people.
It's very important that you have a boy.
In theory, we could gather the men and go to war if we wanted to.
Who are the last dukes.
Monday night at 10 on WNED.
This program